This is Jayne. Jayne is one of the Soul Farm horses. Jayne is a mare, and Jayne spends lots of time with our guests when they come to visit. Guests love taking some time spending it with the horses. Horses can be very soothing, very grounding. They can teach us a lot about ourselves, and Jayne certainly contributes to that. Jayne recently has started working with our guests in our equine assisted Reiki sessions. This is a new thing that we're really excited about. Now, Jayne is probably in her mid to late 20s. In people years, that would probably be like upper 70s, early 80s. And of course, as you get older, things change. And Jayne has had some changes too. Recently, she's had several teeth pulled. As a matter of fact, the dentist, after he did the job, said that Jayne is missing now 5 molars. Sometimes these teeth just fall out naturally. Sometimes they get loose or infected and have to be pulled. So now we know that Jayne has some issues with chewing. Now, this isn't such a big deal in the summer when horses have lots of green, soft grass to eat. They can usually graze pretty well on this soft grass, but in the winter, things change. We have to supplement their food with hay and grain, and both of those things require a little bit of doctoring up when you've got a horse that's missing several teeth. Well, hay is basically just grass that's been allowed to grow long, cut in the summer, dried out, and then baled up. And that's actually pretty hard for a horse with few teeth to chew. So one of the things I can do is chop up Jayne's hay for her into smaller bits, and for that I'm using a leaf shredder. And you can tell by the look of me how much fun I'm having with this project. This is hands down the most tedious task that I have this winter. Feeding these small amounts of hay into the shredder. I've got to fill really big construction garbage bags full. One bag will feed Jayne for about 3 meals, 4 meals maybe. And then of course I've got lots of company, nothing wrong with that. But the end product is worth it because this is something that Jayne can digest easier, get more use out of, and it's important to keep weight on horses in the winter. That really helps keep them warm. Now, the other important part of our horse's diet is these pellets, a horse feed. Sometimes I call it grain. It's not really grain. It's hard though, it's crunchy, and it requires some softening up for Jayne. So I soak it in water. Now this is sped up film, but you can see as it soaks up the water, it's soft like a sponge now. And this is something that Jayne can eat really easily. So far, all this extra labor seems to be working. Jayne's keeping her weight on and she looks good. I feed the horses twice a day. Sometimes, if it's cold out and I'm out kind of late, I've got to come home, put my gear on, put my headlamp on, and go out and feed them. I like to feed them later at night so that as the temperatures drop, their digestion can keep them nice and warm. But even though everything seems to be working out, I'm really looking forward to the grass coming back in. Taking care of animals on a farm during harsh weather conditions like mud and rain and snow and sub-zero temperatures can be a challenge. But I guess that's just all part of the excitement of living here on Soul Farm.